Free love. I've been together with the love of my life for 10 years, married for 8, with a lovely 6-year-old daughter. We have been fortunate enough that I was able to support us all so my wife could stay home with the kids. It was a mutual agreement for the benefit of our daughter. Now that she is in elementary school, my wife has gone back to work to revive her career, which I wholeheartedly encouraged because she was becoming a bit of a recluse and needed more social interaction. It has been 1 year since I started working from home during the day, and my wife working in the evenings. I have been dissatisfied with how our work schedules keep us apart. We only see each other for a couple of hours a day at most. She comes home late, usually between 1 to 2 a.m., and still needs time to unwind. I try to stay up to spend time with her, but I am exhausted by that point and have to go to bed without her. She usually joins me between 3 to 6 a.m. Then I get up at 7, make lunch for the kids, take our daughter to school, pick her up from school, and then make lunch for my wife as she gets up and gets ready. All of this during my work hours. When my wife leaves for work, I have dinner with my little girl, do activities, homework, bath time, and bedtime. After that, I clean up and try to take a nap before my wife gets home. This routine repeats every day. I have tried not to complain because I saw it as a role reversal, and my wife took good care of both of us while being a stay-at-home mom. But I can't understand why she can't go to bed with me, or at least earlier, and wake up early enough to see our daughter off to school or help out by picking her up. Meanwhile, I am neglecting my work and pushing back conference calls just so I can spend time with my daughter. We have talked about this issue, but my wife says she can't fall asleep any earlier. I feel resentful because of this, but we have made it work. However, lately she has been coming home, drinking too much, and lashing out at me in an angry and hurtful manner. She conveniently doesn't remember saying nasty things to me. I have to explain in the morning why I am upset. We had a small argument about the neighbor's dogs barking too much. I stepped out onto the back patio, and she locked me out, flipped me off, and went to bed, leaving me to sleep on the patio all night. After I finally got her to wake up by ringing the doorbell 1,000 times and waking my daughter first, she then lets me in and doesn't remember. Recently, she has made friends at work, and they go out for a few drinks after work once a week, which is fine. She needs social interaction just like everyone else. However, one night, after texting me to say she's going to hang out with her coworkers, she doesn't come home. She misses our daughter's award ceremony at school. She gets home at noon and says she fell asleep watching movies with friends. She doesn't provide any other information. I pry and find out that she slept at a male coworker's house. I pry more and find out that her girlfriend went home, but she didn't. This was the night after she locked me out. I felt hurt, betrayed, lied to, and disappointed. I told her I was expecting at least some sort of gesture to show that she was sorry for locking me out. Being the nice guy that I am, I had bought her flowers to show that I could overcome the anger I felt. But what do I get? She spends the night at some guy's house. She then tells me she thinks she got married too young. She reassures me that there is no affair and I have nothing to worry about. I ask her if she even wants me around anymore. She doesn't know. We go through a rough couple of days, and she has a long talk with her grandmother, who has been married multiple times but is now in a decades-long marriage. It gives her some perspective, and she says she wants to work on our marriage. She says she wants to make it work. I told her I'm completely uncomfortable with her staying over at a man's house, especially one, I don't know. She agrees it was a crappy thing to do and promises it won't happen again. Things are good for almost 2 weeks. Love and intimacy, cuddling, favors for each other. Then I get another text that she's going out for a couple of beers after work, with no other information offered. I texted okay and went to bed. Once again I wake up alone. She comes in and acts like nothing happened. I tell her I'm upset, mostly because she isn't being honest, and she broke her promise less than 2 weeks into fixing things. She says she didn't think it was a big deal. This has me worried that at the very least, she's having an affair with this guy. So I looked up her phone bill. I have never done this before, and I never would have except for her breaking her promise. And so soon, in the last month, there have been 50 texts to me, 100 to her girlfriend, and 400 to this guy. She sees me snooping into her phone bill as a violation of trust, but still won't admit she did anything wrong. I looked at the records in more depth. She texts him before work, during work, after work, from home, after I go to bed, and on weekends. She was texting him the whole day we were having a heart-to-heart about our marriage. I asked her if she still loves me. She says yes. I asked her if she wants to split. She says, I don't know. I asked her how she could disrespect our marriage by breaking her promise. She says, I don't know. But I asked her what she would do if the situation were reversed. She says, I don't know. When I asked her to marry me, she said, hell yes. I asked her if she was still my hell yes wife. She says, I don't know. I told her that our marriage won't work if she is not 100% committed. She says, I don't know. She says she needs time to figure that out. For me, it's a no-brainer. I love this woman madly and deeply, but I want my hell, yeah, wife back. The way I see it, I don't know is not 100%, and therefore means no. Now we are getting ready for a trial separation. She's moving into an apartment, and we'll have our daughter on the weekends. Next up, coming up with terms and boundaries. To clarify, the second time she was out all night, she was with the same guy, and again stayed all night even though her girlfriend went home. Again, I had to pry for each bit of information. I told her that even if she's just watching movies with this guy, it still is not okay because she's not being upfront with me. She is lying by omission. She is repeating behavior that she knows hurts me, and she is breaking her promise to me in the process. I don't think it's a big deal, but I guess it is because it's a big deal for you. Wow, I feel like she thinks there was an apology. This made me feel so small. She initially agreed to marriage counseling. I wanted to see if she'd be proactive about it. 2 weeks in, nothing. So I registered us for a marriage counseling class and told her about it. Her response was sarcastic. Now she doesn't want to go to counseling together, but instead wants us both to do individual counseling while separated. She says it will make us both better parents in the long run. But that is not my chief concern at the moment. She wants this separation time in order to see if her relationship with this other man will work out, not to work on our marriage. At least not mainly. So I sat down and typed up an email with my concerns and possible boundaries for the separation and asked for her input. 1. Do we have a no-contact period, or do we have scheduled family and/or date time? She thinks we should not have a no-contact period because our daughter needs to see us happy and spending time together. 2. Do we have a no physical intimacy rule to clearly separate emotional and physical connection? She says, I don't know, she hasn't been feeling it, but might want to tomorrow. 3. Should we have an agreement on who is allowed over during daughter time? I don't want to confuse her with a new place and new faces. We agree that her girlfriend can be over with daughter, but that's it. Tina, outside of daughter time, will dating be allowed or forbidden? I have no interest in it, but don't want to be controlling. Clear boundaries need to be set. She says, I don't know how I feel about it. On one hand, I never want to date again, but on the other hand, I wonder what it might be like. No animosity, no weirdness. 5. We need to set a time frame for the trial in order to prevent perpetual limbo. I think 3 to 6 months. We agree, and she mentions the possibility of breaking the lease early. 6. Can we agree to give each other updates on counseling? If one of us does it and the other doesn't, the separation is a waste of time. She does want open and full disclosure regarding progress. 7. Once we agree on boundaries, what happens if one of us crosses them? Put a nail in it or reevaluate? I think respecting agreements is more important in this trial than ever before. She says mutual concerns are important, but life is fluid. I think if something comes up, we need to analyze it as it happens. Neither of us knows what is going to actually happen in the next 3 to 6 months. Anything could happen. All I know right now is that I have no idea what might happen. I'm of the mind that if she can't follow a separation agreement of less than 10 rules, then what good are any agreements, including marriage? I love you so much that I would lay down in front of a train for you without hesitation. I'd take a bullet for you, but I don't know if I'm still in love, so she would take a bullet for me. But she won't end an innocent friendship with OM. I got another vague text last night that she was going out for a beer after work. I didn't even ask, and I'm not going to. I didn't wait up for her. I made myself a comfy bed on the couch and went to sleep. I think I heard her coming in around 5 a.m., but I didn't bother to check the clock. And to be clear, the only reason I'm going to bed on the couch is if I do go to sleep in the bed. She still crawls in with me and tries to snuggle. Nope, she'll have to work harder than that. I'm not a pillow to be disregarded until she needs a soft spot. To my surprise, she got up this morning and helped see our daughter off to school. Then she texted me that we can talk after work, meaning hers. I texted back that if I'm up, my sleep is just as important as hers, and if she really wants to talk, she'll make the time. No answer. She went to sleep. We'll see what happens. However, I now understand what I must do if I want to preserve any sense of self-respect that I have. For me, it's a no-brainer. No matter what she has done, I am madly in love with her. But I cannot wait around for a woman who is not in love with me. I have an appointment with a lawyer today and a divorce kit coming in the mail, as well as a copy of No More Mr. Nice Guy. I met with a lawyer yesterday to discuss my options. I'm hesitant to pull the trigger just yet, so I set an appointment with a marriage counselor today. My wife asked me last night if I have anything to say to her. I told her that her responses to my questions were alarming. I said that if she's willing to take a bullet for me, then she should give me an hour of her time to go to marriage counseling with me so we can to discuss my concerns in a neutral environment with a third-party perspective. She agreed to go with me to air our laundry in front of a stranger, and we'll be leaving in a few minutes. Wish me luck. Minutes. Wish me luck, not too hopeful. But I need to do this for myself before I do anything else. No matter what happens, I plan on continuing to see the counselor. The MC session was great for me. It helped me really see how much damage I've done by being emotionally unavailable, for which I admitted and apologized. Then the MC went on a little spiel about how this causes a wife to feel unloved and enables emotional affairs to happen. He explained to my wife about the affair fog and how both parties need to accept responsibility. He tried to get her to open up, but separation would be the nail in the coffin because she's already willing to consider dating, and really already is. She was silent throughout the session but hurried out in tears. I returned the next day for another session, but she would not join me. The MC helped me see that there is nothing I can do to fix it, and it's now her responsibility due to the obvious affair. Whether physical or not, she would have to cut off all contact with the other man and change shifts so that we can spend more time together and continue with MC. The next day, she had another stop at the other man's house to take him beer because he had hurt his back. She did text me to let me know this first. Immediately I explained how I felt rather than holding it in. I told her that I don't care about strange men's back, and no man would ask a married woman to bring him beer on her way home unless he wanted her. I also told her that I felt disrespected and disappointed that she would oblige after my concerns about their relationship were made clear. After getting this off my chest, I was able to enjoy watching a few comedies. She was completely surprised to come home and find me laughing in front of the TV. We then had an all-night discussion about our marriage initiated by her, and it's clear that she has already checked out. She admitted that she's been contemplating a split for almost 3 years, and apologized for not letting me know sooner. She said she thought separation was a good idea not to fix the marriage, but to help me ease out of it. So we are going to try to enjoy Thanksgiving together as a family and focus on how we still care about each other, but we will file for divorce afterwards. She has agreed to let me move out of state with my daughter, closer to my family, so that she can have support from them that she cannot provide. Oddly, I feel relieved and impressed that she can see that the life she wants at the moment and the place her head is at is not the best thing for our daughter. But I am splitting the account, and she can use her own paychecks to pay her rent. She wants a new car, but she will also be responsible for the payments. We have both put money into savings, so we will split that. We have also both contributed to the house, so we have discussed splitting that 3 ways, with the other third going into a savings account to finance child visitation. And then I will be gone with the kids. I make more money and will take care of the kids, while she makes less and will take care of herself. She has admitted to lying to me to spend time with the other man, and promised she wouldn't do it again, but she keeps going back to him. Whether they touch each other or not is no longer a concern for me. The fact that she is putting their relationship above ours says enough. She could probably change my mind by reversing that and putting our relationship first, but that's on her to prove. I don't think she believes I will go through with the divorce, but I am not interested in watching her any more than I already have with the phone bill. I don't see how it could possibly help. I am trying to focus on the positive and get through this. If she has given up on us, or more accurately given up on herself and her ability to look inward and work through her problems, then my next best scenario is keeping my daughter in a stable environment and having a clean break. As clean a break as possible. She has agreed to that, so why rock the boat and cause more resentment at this point? I can't fix the relationship alone, but I can show my daughter that it's possible to end things well without the animosity that usually comes with a divorce. If I can gather evidence, who should I expose it to? The other man is single. DS cut off her family years ago due to an abusive childhood, except for her sick elderly grandmother who likes me, and has told DS she can't understand why she would leave me. She has a new girlfriend, who works with DS and the other man, but has already distanced herself from her childhood boyfriend. Then there is my family, who has been like a second family to her for a decade. She says she's worried because she doesn't want to disappoint everyone on my side. My parents actually wrote her a very nice letter telling her she will always be their daughter. They also asked what was wrong because they thought she loved me. So why would she want to date others? It did not go over well. She woke me up to rant, how dare they accuse her of not loving me, etc. I remained calm and let her get it out, then went back to bed, trying to stay cool and in the dark. I've had good friends over for barbecue twice in the last week while she's at work. I went out and got contacts and a new pair of sunglasses. Since she initiated talks and admitted that her actions have made it impossible for me to trust her at the moment, and also impossible to ever see her friend as anything but a threat. She says she wishes me and the other man could be friends because we are so similar. I then got her to partially admit that this is exactly why her relationship with him is dangerous, because she feels a connection to him that is much like her connection to me. She says we're done, and let's file after Thanksgiving. At the same time, she agrees to go to marriage counseling with me next week, then walked past the couch I was lying on as she went to bed, and told me it's okay if I sleep in the same bed. It was then morning, and I had to stay up with the kids. Now she's preparing a turkey feast, making at least one dish specifically for me that I did not request. We had a talk about her betraying my trust, she admits, and she says she wants me to be able to trust her. I told her the first step to rebuilding that is I would need her passwords, and I offered her mine. She said no. Note that this is after she said she is completely done with me and wants to file immediately and will be looking at places to rent. I asked why if she has nothing to hide. She says that I would misinterpret things, like her calling the other man Cupcake, and gave some story about how it's an inside joke. I told her that if we are over, then why does it matter? My thoughts are that if she's willing to divulge a pet name, but still unwilling to share her passwords, then it must be the tip of the iceberg. I found out that she changed her Facebook password the same day she told me she was considering dating during our separation, and stayed out all night. So I can reset her Facebook password and get in, but she will know because she'll be locked out. Should I? At this point, I'm thinking I don't have much to lose by upsetting her. She finally admitted that she cheated on me by seeking comfort from another man when things got tough, and lied to me to cover it up and keep it going, but she is absolutely not willing to do anything to make it right. She's given up. Almost every time we have a talk, I uncover another lie. I found out she's been pretty much stalking the other man, going to his place at night, to take him beer even though he says he doesn't need any, and then telling me she's doing it because he wanted her to. He has started to pull away and doesn't want to talk to her anymore. She was vilifying me and making me sound like a big, terrible, jealous person who doesn't want her to be independent. I wasn't aware that being independent meant sleeping wherever you please. He told her he wouldn't be the reason she loses her daughter. The whole next night she was messaging him, begging for his forgiveness because she doesn't want to lose him. There was no mention of losing me or her daughter. I don't want to lose you because of someone else's insecurities, specifically mine. I didn't know that expecting your wife to be honest and faithful was considered insecure. I thought it was just part of being married. I also found out that last summer, she was messaging a guy she dated before me, talking about the dreams they both had about each other that were just too good. There were a lot of pet names and I love yous exchanged. She started messaging him again as soon as things got tough between us. I gave her back my wedding band today and have almost completed the paperwork for our divorce. It's clear that this current situation was not an isolated incident, so I am done with her now too. I hope she enjoys being lonely because I'm going to have a great time with my daughter. We have decided that I will keep the new car and make the payments since she won't be able to afford it. I agree with this decision as it will free up money for her to use for travel to see her daughter. However, last night, she asked me if she could keep the new car after she leaves, until I move out of state, while I continue to make the payments. Her reasoning was that it would be cheaper on gas for her to come and visit our daughter. I told her it was a little insulting for her to ask this of me. She wants a divorce and to be an independent woman, which means she should be responsible for her own expenses. I will do my best to bring our daughter to her as often as possible, but I will not pay for her to come and see her. That is not fair. I have already agreed to waive child support. She blew up and started arguing that her money bought the car. I explained to her that during our marriage, there was no mine and yours, as everything was shared. But now that we are getting divorced and splitting our assets, the only thing we will continue to share is our daughter. Now she is calling me a selfish jerk. Today was strange. She cried from the moment she woke up. This was a first. She kept standing in my office doorway, expecting me to say something. I just made sure she saw me filling out the divorce papers. She would walk away and then come back repeating the same things. She cried about me giving back my wedding ring. I asked her why she was shocked and she said, "Because now it's getting real." I replied, "Yes, this stack of papers is pretty real too." She was supposed to go and open a bank account and look at apartments today, but she didn't do either. So I went out and made an appointment with a child counselor, something she had also promised to do. She knows we need to do this before she moves out and breaks the news to our daughter. I am staying strong. I woke up to 4 emails in a row from her, apologizing for involving me in her messy life and saying that she needs to let us go to save us. I told her I agree and that she should go and look for an apartment. Here is the progression of events since I first told her about the other guy. She said he was just a friend. She claimed she fell asleep while watching movies with him. She told me I had nothing to worry about. She said she only texted him for comic relief and that he just gets her. She wished we could all be friends. She said she could talk to him about real stuff because he understands. She insisted there was nothing romantic between them and that she didn't cheat on me. She admitted to lying to me so she wouldn't hurt me. She said the definition of emotional affair only sort of fits. She accused me of not wanting her to have any friends and claimed that I know everything there is to know. She said she won't give up her friend and that we are done. She admitted to cheating on me by turning to him for comfort. She said she has told me everything and begged me to trust her. She asked if I couldn't see that he was just a friend. She said nothing else fits. She even lied to me about washing her outfit because she was afraid I would get mad. I was afraid you would hurt me. Nothing happened. I showered because I smelled like a man. I wore his sweater. I didn't want you to get jealous, so I lied. It's not an affair. We just kissed. My grandma told me never to tell. It was an affair. I'm sorry. You'll never trust me again. Over the last couple of days, since I purchased Not Just Friends, and highlighted and flagged the heck out of it, I left it for her to read. She quit after 20 to 30 pages and kept waking me up over and over to try and prove me wrong on each little point. I called her out on her BS and kept going back to sleep. I asked if she got to the part about rebuilding trust, and she said she knows that I want to be able to trust her again, even after we split, as we have to co-parent. I told her she would have to be completely open with me. She let out a little bit of the story each time claiming that was all of it. I kept calling her out on her BS. I've lived with you for 10 years. I know when you're full of it. Then I let out that the very first time she was out all night, I noticed that she washed her clothes. Just her outfit from the night before. And she showered immediately upon arriving home, both completely off her normal schedule. I've been holding that one back since this started. So for now, she claims it was just kissing. But it was an affair. Not just emotional. I still don't believe it's all out in the open. It's too convenient how it keeps coming out in baby steps. Each one a little worse than the last. And she still gets that deer-in-the-headlights look when I confront her. I had my lawyer review my papers today, and I will be filing on Monday. The 60-day period should end right before my birthday, Valentine's Day. I'll be going out that night and treating myself, rather than buying someone else gifts on my birthday. There have been some very hard days and nights, and extremely heated arguments since I made the decision. But it was definitely worth it for a few reasons. I have received more truth from her than I would have, which will help me heal faster. Probably not much quicker, but I can see how divorcing with her still adamant that they were just friends would have enabled me to keep emotionally second-guessing what I rationally know to be true. That would have made healing more difficult, but definitely not impossible or even improbable. By exposing the truth, placed my desire for closure above her needs and feelings, which will help me disengage in a healthier manner. I showed myself that it is okay to focus on myself. By her admitting things out loud to me, even if I had to pry with a jackhammer, she will also be able to heal quicker, should she choose to do so. She can step out of denial and feel and acknowledge her guilt and shame, rather than continuing to lie to me for years. Adding to the guilt and shame with each lie. Most importantly, all of these things will improve the co-parenting situation in the long run. She actually finished the Not Just Friends book last night and has been apologetic all day. The book has definitely helped too, but I'm certain that she would not have been willing to read it before I exposed the truth. We both sat down and broke the news to our 6-year-old daughter tonight. Together, on the surface, she is handling it well. She is more focused on what art and toys she'll get to keep at her mom's apartment, and whether or not the place will have a pool. She is internalizing her feelings as she isn't sure how to communicate them, but we have a child psychologist for her starting on Thursday. My soon-to-be ex is moving out in a week, as long as she doesn't keep dragging her feet. But with our daughter knowing now, she better get moving. I can't wait to sleep in a bed again. My back is killing me now that I am, or at least trying very hard to be, done focusing on her. I have been doing a lot of introspection. I was talking with a colleague in a similar situation, and he asked me, what is it about being a designer? Many of us in creative occupations have been through this, including 4 out of 5 of my closest colleagues. After some thought, I responded, I think this rather simply explains the role that I played, and what I need to do to prevent myself from repeating the pattern in the future. It seems that by spending most of our waking moments in our own little creative wonderland, we enable those closest to us to see us as out of reach and unappreciative. If only we could focus our design skills and creative energy on effectively communicating the depth of our feelings, we would be in stronger relationships. Unfortunately, it is often too little too late when we come to realize this, as it takes a shocking event to snap us out of the cloud. I filed today right before noon on December 12th. Included in the filing was a signed and agreed-upon joint custody plan, allowing me to move out of state with my daughter after the house sells. I went over it with my STBX last night. in order to get her signature so the custody agreement could be filed with the petition. It was actually one of the most peaceful evenings that I've had in months. It showed me that I am making progress and that I still have further to go. I sat on the couch with the papers ready, and she came over and sat down. But there was a huge difference this time. She intentionally sat so close to me that her bent leg was over mine, halfway into my lap. This is the first physical contact we have had in weeks. I won't lie, I was even a bit aroused. But I remained strong. It didn't really take as much effort as I thought it would. Previously, I would have jumped at the chance to scoot closer, to rest my hand on her leg, to lean in, anything to make it go further. But I didn't. We went over the stack of documents, and we had to stop multiple times as she teared up. She cried a little about not being raised in a loving family that my daughter and I would be returning to. She cried a little about knowing I am a strong, attentive parent and will help her daughter thrive. And she expressed gratitude that I wasn't being childish and taking her to the cleaners, or getting vindictive. I listened and validated, but I did not comfort her physically as I have in the past. I didn't rub her back or hold her. I didn't tear up with empathy or wallow in my own sorrow. I returned to the paperwork after each tangent and brought the conversation back to the matter at hand, the divorce papers that would be filed the next day. She got up for more than a couple breaks, snacks, bathroom, and each time sat right back down as she had before, even a little closer. There was no blaming, no anger, no frustration last night. I was calm. We finished reviewing the paperwork, I collected the signed documents, and I got off the couch. She then tried small talk and even joked a bit. I was not unkind or dismissive, but I was tired and didn't find it funny, so I went to bed. I slept well, or as well as my back would allow on the upstairs couch, better than I have in weeks. Today, after I filed, I changed my Facebook status from married to it's complicated. I also left a post, "What was is over, what will be begins now. Bring it on, I'm ready." This was not for her, even though I know she has been trolling my profile lately. This was for me. I am accepting the situation and letting my family and friends know where I'm at. After I heard her get up, I left my upstairs office and went down to give her copies and the acceptance waiver of service form for her to notarize. She was at the computer crying, though she tried to hide it. I went outside and had lunch in the sun on the patio. I had gone to Subway and for the first time returned home with a 6-inch sub instead of a foot long for us to split. She still hasn't selected an apartment, but I care less every day. Not because I hope that her staying an extra day or two will give me another chance to convince her to stay longer, but because I am where I am and I'm headed somewhere and I'm a little excited about it. The process has begun no matter how she reacts. It is easier for me to not be angry or devastated just by looking at her because I am accepting that our love relationship is over and I am making plans for myself and our daughter. I still get very sad and cry at times, but not around her. She can't comfort me because she is gone, even if she is still here physically. I'm on my own now and find comfort in knowing that things can only get better from here. I start to see through her manipulative tactics, even if they are unconscious. They are manipulative as hell. She has been trying hard to reel me back in while her words say the opposite. Laying on the perfume thick too much, dolling herself up and coming home on time, wearing my button-up shirts around the house, walking around in a towel just to talk to me about nothing, saying things like, "Damn, you smell good," leaning in closer to the computer for me to see. Bought me a Christmas gift, something you said you wanted. Wearing my winter coat outside, hers fits fine. Non-stop small talk more than ever. Calling me over to show me funny stuff on the computer. Following me around the house. Wants to cook me Christmas dinner moving out set. Wants to stay here on Christmas Eve, told her no. Wants to keep the key to the house, told her no. Telling me every detail about her move preparation. I get distracted. Asking for my input on everything, I say it's up to you. I knock and she says come in as she's stripping to shower. But she knows what I require and is unwilling to do it. 1. Share passwords. 2. Change shifts. 3. Go to marriage counseling together. 4. Prove no contact with the other man. STBX is going to individual counseling this week, the first time ever in our marriage. I continue mine, and he's impressed with my progress. Our daughter is also in counseling and is on week 2, and she is also impressed. I filed her acceptance of service today, starting the 60 days. She finally got it notarized last Friday. She chose an apartment the day I served her, and her move-in date is set. She hasn't packed, so I bought boxes today and reserved a moving truck. If she hasn't used any by tomorrow, I'll start filling them myself. I woke up to find another email trying to hash out details of her moving out. STBX informed me that there are 3 of her work friends that I've never met. Some that I exposed her lies to earlier are willing to help move. She asked, "Would you like help loading the truck?" They will be there to help unload. I just didn't want to make things even more uncomfortable than they already will be. I'm confident we can move the bed and couch by ourselves. We've done it before. I waited for her to wake up and told her that this is her move. She shouldn't be worried about my comfort level, as I'll be fine. I told her that I am willing to help, but she needs to let me know if, when, and where she wants my help. I also pointed out that she never even asked for my help, but instead took it for granted. Then a weird thing happened. She told me that she assumed I would be helping, as I am the one who wanted a divorce. She just wanted separation. I remained calm and pointed out that she never communicated her needs or asked for my help. Calm, I pointed out that I originally suggested separation to work on the marriage, but pulled it off the table when it was clear she wanted it so she could continue dating. On something she admitted last week, I reminded her that I had repeatedly told her I do not want a divorce, and she repeatedly told me daily, "I'm done." She told me to fill out the papers, so I did. It's amazing how warped her thought process is. Not only has she rewritten the history of our marriage, but now she is even rewriting events of the last 2 months in order to make herself believe that she never asked for a divorce. Amazing. My comment, part 2, coming tomorrow. I am working on it as soon as I grab some food, and I just want to say I appreciate all of you out there.